morning, and thank you for joining us for our first ever virtual fundraiser, A Night at Home with the Lake Superior Zoo. My name is Haley Cope, and I am the Chief Executive Officer here at the zoo in Duluth, Minnesota. You are in for quite a fun hour and a half as we go behind the scenes and meet some of our animals up close and personal. This year has been tough for organizations, businesses, and us all during the pandemic, and the Lake Superior Zoo was not immune. We first shut down on March 18th to help stop the spread of COVID-19, flatten the curve, and keep our animals, staff, and community safe. Well, it was a long 85 days missing the smiling faces of our guests, those members who join us each weekend, and the animals, of course, missed you too. We canceled events like Easter Extravaganza and Mad Safari, as well as our educational programming such as field trips and summer camps. During that time, we lost hundreds of thousands of dollars that we depend on to care for our animal family. Thankfully, we were able to safely reopen to the public on June 11th with the Walk on the Wild Side, our outdoor-only experience on the beautiful grounds here at the zoo. Guests met tundra and banks, orphaned Alaskan brown bears for the very first time. They enjoyed the fresh air and creating new memories with their families. Your support while we were closed and through the summer and fall truly made all the difference. You not only helped take care of our over 350 animals, but you uplifted our spirits. The animals, of course, were quite excited to see our guests again as well. Fast forward to last Saturday, November 21st, when we entered our second shutdown of the year. We are committed to keeping our community, staff, and animals safe, and will do our part in this fight against COVID-19 by closing our doors until it is safe once again to welcome you back to the zoo. If we all do our part, mask up, and stay safe, we hope to see your faces again back at the zoo sooner than later. As a nonprofit organization, we rely on admission sales, program fees, and donations to provide the absolute best care for our animals and accomplish our mission. That's why we are asking for your help today. Your gift will feed our new pack of North American gray wolves, purchase needed supplies for our veterinary team, and support the team of dedicated animal care staff that make a difference in the lives of our animals each and every day. The zoo is unique in that we incur almost the same amount of expenses when we are closed as when we are open for visitors. We cannot shut our doors and come back later. Taj the tiger, cougar siblings Tacoma and Olympia, and countless other familiar faces depend on us for care, love, and a fighting chance for their species to survive in the wild. I'll check back in throughout the program to talk about our online auction with Twin Ports Bid, what's new at the zoo, and our holiday membership drive. So without further ado, let's check in with Keeper Lizzie as she goes with Keeper Hannah to pick up our new wolves, Shasta, Sierra, and Tahama. Welcome to A Night at Home with the Lake Superior Zoo.
We have some really awesome, exciting things that are happening today. So today we are going to be going down to the Twin Cities to pick up 3 gray wolves that are coming to us from California. So early this morning they were caught up and they were put in their kennels. They're now on their flight, currently on their way to Minneapolis, and myself and 2 of our other keepers are going to be driving down to go get them and be able to put them out on exhibit tonight. So some of the things that we're doing to get ready for that today is we're getting our car all prepped and ready to go. We're getting water ready for the animals out on exhibit, their food ready to go. Some of the things that we're getting for the van is we're bringing some blankets down so that we can make sure to have them comfortable by having those over the crates so that they don't exactly see all the crazy stuff that's happening. We're gonna have the van nice and quiet for them, and then us keepers are gonna be in there watching them and taking care of them the whole time. We're hoping to get back pretty late tonight, and then we're gonna be putting them straight out onto exhibit where they get to find out their new home. We've got 3 girls coming in, and they are siblings, and they're 6 years old, and we can't wait for you guys to meet them. Stay tuned to show you guys a part of the wolf exhibit that we are getting ready for them to come in today. So this is the part of the wolf exhibit that we call the recovery yard and their den boxes. So these are 2 different places for the wolves to be able to go into, kind of get away from people if they want to. This is also where we have their food, we have their heated water, and then we have their super cozy den boxes over here. These are filled with straw. They're really nice and small so that they can go in there and they can feel like they're kind of burrowing inside of it. This is also where we can keep them if we ever needed to separate them for any reason. Being wolves, we never want to separate them for any reason. These 3 girls are very, very bonded. They're siblings. They kind of have all of their pack mentality figured out. So we don't want to separate them if we don't have to. But we certainly can if we ever needed to, if any of them had a medical emergency or anything else that might happen to them. So we're super excited to get them here, and we hope that they like this yard as much as we put all the effort into making it. So in here we have multiple different den boxes that they can go into. These are nice, tight little areas where they can have straw inside. They can bed down, get nice and cozy. We also have enrichment up here. Right now we have a blue ball hanging there for them to play with if they want to. And this whole yard is going to be theirs. They have a pool that they'll be able to use during the summer months. And then they have that recovery yard that I was able to show you guys a little while ago. So in that recovery yard, that's where we have their water, their food. It's where they're able to get inside and we'll be able to get an up-close look at them. So this yard is really, really fun because it's got a lot of trees. It's got a lot of nature all around it. We are here now at Delta Cargo where we are here to pick up the wolves. We're so excited. We just did our drive. It's starting to be dark out and we're going to get these guys, check on them, make sure everything's all fine. Then we're going to load them up into our van and then drive them back up to the zoo. We're so excited! One of the wolves being here on exhibit. So late last night we got here, we drove up from the Twin Cities and got them from the airport, and now we have them out on exhibit. So late last night we set up some lights and we let them out onto exhibit around midnight, and these guys are doing really, really well. We have Shasta, Sierra, and Tahama, and they are settling in super nicely. This is exactly what we want to see, kind of calm behavior, and they are just doing great.
We are so excited to have these 3 new wolves here at the Lake Superior Zoo. We'd love to tell you a little bit more about them. They were all born at the California Wolf Center on April 29th, 2013. They have 2 older brothers, Wintu, who still lives at the Wolf Center, and Sequoia, who now lives at the Oakland Zoo. They have lived on exhibit most of their lives, and they are quite used to people coming around to see them. We've also seen this in the visitors that were able to come on the Friday before we had to close. And the wolves were very interactive. They came right up to the fence line and welcomed the guests. Their names are all California related to honor the return of the wolf to the California state. Wolves started to make a comeback in the wild in 2011. Shasta is named after Mount Shasta, Sierra after the Sierra Mountains, and Tahama after Tahama County, California. So let's learn more about each wolf individually. Shasta is the most dominant wolf in the pack. She's a blonde tan color, and she actually has 2 different colored eyes. One is gold and one is brown. And she's actually the smallest of the pack, even though she's the most dominant. She leads her pack with little effort, it seems. Both of her sisters follow her around and certainly respect her. Tahama, like Sierra, is also very dominant and likes to try and boss her around. Tahama is the darkest of the three and has a grizzled coloration. She is constantly marking her territory and making sure that Sierra isn't being too rambunctious. Miss Sierra is the largest of the three, yet she's actually the most submissive. She loves to play and has always been the goofy one. When she was just 3 months old, she was bitten by a rattlesnake twice, once on her front left paw and once on the left side of her muzzle. She healed up just fine, but the only way that you can tell her sisters, Sierra and Shasta, apart is by the scar on the left side of her face. She survived and she has a great story, and we are so excited to have all 3 of these girls with us here at the zoo. This new habitat for our North American gray wolves was made possible by the Clean Water Land and Legacy Amendment Grant. In 2008, Minnesota voters passed the Clean Water Land and Legacy Amendment, also known as the Legacy Amendment, to the Minnesota Constitution to protect drinking water sources, protect, enhance, and restore wetlands, prairies, forests, and fish, game and wildlife habitat, to preserve arts and cultural heritage, and to support parks and trails, as well as protect, enhance, and restore lakes, rivers, streams, and groundwater. We are so grateful that we have been able to be included in the Legacy Amendment grant funding for several different projects here at the Lake Superior Zoo. We'd like to take this time to thank Twin Ports Bid for being such an amazing partner to the zoo and for hosting our online auction this year. Here's a peek at just a few of the items that are up for grabs. Don't forget to place your bids now because the auction ends at 8:30 p.m. tonight. Good luck. We'd also like to thank the many small businesses in the Duluth community that helped us with a donation for our auction during this time. Your generosity is appreciated by all of us here at the zoo. Thank you.
My name is Hannah and I'm one of the zookeepers here at the Lake Superior Zoo, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information on our Calamiko monkeys today. So these guys are called woolly monkeys, but they have a couple different names that they can go by, and one of the most common ones is Calamiko, and that's actually the genus of this species. So here at the zoo, we have two Calamiko monkeys. We have a male-female pair. Our male, his name is Alex, and he is 12 years old. And then our female, who is up there, gonna probably come down and say hi to you guys right now, her name is Chia, and she is 8 years old. So both of these guys, Alex and Chia, came to us from different zoological facilities. So Miss Chia here, we acquired her from the Milwaukee Zoo, and then Mr. Alex we acquired from Zoo Miami. So they were recommended to be a breeding pair here at the Lake Superior Zoo based on the SSP, or Species Survival Plan. So these guys in the wild, they live in parts of the Amazon rainforest that are found in the northwestern region of South America. So these guys are primates, and they are mostly arboreal, so they spend most of their time in the trees, which explains why we have so much perching and lovely trees here in this exhibit. These guys are also a diurnal species, which means most of their activity levels are going to happen during the day, and then they rest overnight. Hi, Mr. Alex. In the wild, their diet consists primarily of fruits and vegetation, as well as insects. That's actually one of the favorite part of their diet here at the zoo. They love their waxworms that they get every day, and mealworms. That's one of their favorite treats. They also love grapes. That's one of their favorite treats to eat as well. So as you can see, these monkeys that we have here, these two Calamikos in particular, they are pretty curious and inquisitive little monkeys. I love getting to work with them because they're very curious, and they love to always come down and kind of check out what's going on. So they absolutely are interactive with the guests. As you can see, when people are walking by and coming to say hi to these guys, they love to come down and say hi right back. They love to see what you've got going on, take a nice good look at you. And they, you know, because of COVID and stuff, when we were shut down to the public, you could definitely tell that they knew something was different, because they weren't having that constant flow of people, and they didn't get to have as much guest interaction. So they are loving having the public back here. They love being able to, like I said, interact with you guys and come see all different faces. It's great enrichment for them, and they love it. So we've really enjoyed having the public back.
At this time, we'd like to thank our sponsors for helping make this event possible. Let's hear it for Essentia Health, Kraus Anderson, North Shore Bank, Sammy's Pizza West Duluth, Twin Ports Bid, and Fulcrum Visions. These local businesses believe in our mission and have been wonderful community partners. Please drop a thumbs up or heart in the comments to show them some love.
Right now we are in our T2 room, or Terrarium 2 room, which is basically just a separate room that we have to have some of our ambassador and education animals on the side while they aren't on exhibit. We rotate through these animals so that they each get to have a little experience interacting with people and stuff, but this is kind of like our holding space for now. So this room is a combination of reptiles and mammals. We have a couple snakes here. We have a corn snake named Wesley and a ball python named Oliver. Super great. You've probably seen them on education programs. We have Lydia, our sand boa, and Cloud Jumper, our bearded dragon, being as lazy as ever. Super cute. We also have our New Guinea stick insects back here. These guys were up in Australia, but we took them back because they started to breed, and we want to make sure that they have a nice secluded space so that they can kind of repopulate themselves. So we have one of our African bullfrogs, Cucumber. We also have a second African bullfrog named Pickles out on exhibit in the Frog Island, which you've probably seen. So we usually rotate between those two so they get a little bit of time for each other. But this is our corn snake Oscar, one of our smaller snakes. We also grow a lot of our terrarium plants here. Some of our keepers, Bethany and Megan, actually do a great job with exhibit design. So they grow their own plants, their own moss, and they propagate new things here daily, which is super awesome. A red tree frog down here at the bottom, and new little baby tadpoles. That was so neat. Here we have Scapelli, our glass lizard. He's probably hiding underneath all of this cocoa husk right now because he is about to shed, which is super exciting.
That's when we usually give them basic care. We don't like to do too much to stress them out because that is a very vulnerable time for lizards and for snakes. And down here we have our 2 male hedgehogs. So on exhibit in Griggs we have the females, and back here we have the father of them all, which is Potato Chip, and then one of his sons, Yukon.
Okay.
So this is super exciting. This is Russell. He's our newest member to the zoo family. He is a 3-banded armadillo. He was the one who was actually housed with our 2 Taracos before they were breeding. So now he's back here in T2 so that he can have his own space and the Taracos can have their time for their breeding program. It's super exciting. Russell is one of our older animals at the zoo. He's about 20, we believe, which is about the life expectancy that we think 3-banded armadillos live in captivity. But as you can see, he is full of spunk and energy, and he loves nothing more than a pile of worms and to climb. Hi, my name is Rachel McNamee. I am the Australia keeper here at the Lake Superior Zoo, and today I'm going to show you behind the scenes of our Australia building. So back here, you guys have all been able to come to our Australia building now that that's finally open and everything. But what you guys haven't been able to see is our behind the scenes stuff. So this is our holding area. This is where we have some of our animals in the back when it gets super cold. This is where our macros sleep in the winter. This is also where we can control all the lighting, the heat, everything that we need to do to service these animals. So we have a couple different animals here in the back. In one of our holding spaces, we have 3 blue and gold macaws. They are our trio bonded pair. We have 2 males, Michael and Aaron, and then 1 female, Celine. These guys came from the housing situation that Mariah was in, where they were eventually surrendered to us to provide better care. So they are actually in the back here and not in the main building where you find all the other parrots, mainly because these guys are super vocal, they really love to be loud. So in a different holding space, we have one of our brush-tailed batongs, Gimli. So he is actually here by himself because they are a very solitary animal. The males do love their own space and they tend to do best when they are separate. So here he gets to trade off between this holding space and the exhibit. We rotate them bi-weekly, so next week we're going to have our pair that are out on exhibit back here in holding so that they can have their alone time and just kind of have the space to themselves. But Gimli's super awesome. Batongs are another marsupial, kind of like the kangaroos and wallabies that you guys have seen. They also have a very cool prehensile tail, like the opossums here in North America. So what he'll do usually, if you can see them on exhibit, they will grab a bunch of hay or sticks or leaves and bunch them in their tail and create like a little nest or a little hiding spot with it. So he's very, very cool to have here at the zoo. So these are some of our marsupials that we have here at the zoo. This here is Luna. She's one of our red kangaroos. We also have 2 Bennett's wallabies. This one is Frodo, and here we have Sam. So this is their holding space in the back. So this is what we call a true holding. This is where they get shifted into at night when it gets a little bit dark and we have to close up shop for the day and everything. This is also where they live in the winter when it gets too cold for them to go outside. So right now it's about 20 degrees out, which is pretty cold for an Australian animal. So they get to stay in here where they get to be all nice and warm, get extra enrichment, and get to hang out with us all day. So we have one more red kangaroo, Ginny. She is actually a lot more red than Luna right here, but they are about the same size. Hi guys. So the females tend to be quite smaller than the males. The males would most likely be about twice the size of Luna here. So close your hand. Good boy. Here. Not my fingers. Good boy. And can you target? Good. You're so smart. Good job. So the last piece of our holding area in the backstage of Australia is all that the keepers use. So we have all of our tools here that we need to use in order to clean all these holdings to get them fresh and ready for every day. We also have our enrichment closet right here. It's filled with a bunch of toys, a lot of things that you guys have donated to us, which is super awesome. So lastly, we have our kitchen. So it's really awesome that we get to create and prep our diets daily for all of our animals. So every day we come back here, we chop up produce, collect the prey items if we need to, sort out bugs and things like that, making sure that everybody's getting their diet for the day.
Hi guys, my name is Lizzie and I am one of the carnivore keepers here at the Lake Superior Zoo, and I am here to talk to you guys about Tundra and Banks today. So we are behind the scenes. We have Banks who's hanging out with me here. He is chewing on one of his very favorite things, which is a beef bone. And then we have Tundra who's hanging out behind him, who is playing with some deer antlers that I put in there earlier today. So this is a behind the scenes look at what we call their holding area. So this is their indoor area where we can actually bring them in the morning, we can lock them in, and then I can go out safely onto their exhibit without ever being in direct contact with them. Hi Banks, yes, I know. So what we do is we call them in the morning, we lock them in, I go outside, I clean, I can put their food on their exhibit, I can do their enrichment, so I can put their toys out there and maybe some scents or something. And then I come back in here, I actually train both bears in here. I separate them into two separate stalls so that there's no fighting over food or anything, and I can get each bear's full attention. So these guys are almost 2 years old. So these guys, unfortunately, were orphaned out in the wild. So they were found in Alaska. They are coastal Alaskan brown bears, which means that they should get to be some of the largest brown bears in the world. These guys, their mother at just a couple months old was hit by a car and unfortunately did not survive. Now there's too many baby brown bears that are orphaned in the wild to be able to keep them alive. And so unfortunately, if we hadn't been able to take these two boys when they were just a couple months old, they would have had to have been euthanized. So that's what the role of zoos is for orphaned animals like this. We never take animals out of the wild unless they're not going to be able to survive on their own. So these boys came to us when they were just a couple months old. We still got to feed them milk. Oh my word, it was so adorable. They came in weighing only about 50 pounds, and right now Tundra here is 550 pounds in a little over a year. So what's fun about these guys is I actually get to train with them quite a bit. Some of the things that we are training them to do is do things like stand up so we can see their tummy, put their claws up so we can trim their nails. We're actually training them also for being able to do injection training. We were able to successfully give them their rabies injections this year without having to have them sedated. They let us do it all on their own. So these guys are still going to continue to grow. So like I said, Tundra weighs about 550 pounds right now. Banks is a little bit less than that. He's at about 475. But so these guys are going to get to be hopefully up to about 1,000 pounds. So they still have a lot of growing to do. Right now, they're probably about as plump as they're going to get all year round. In fall, they really start to bulk up on that food. Now these guys are not going to go into that full hibernation that you would see a normal bear do, because they do that in the wild based on the food that's available. So these guys, since we feed them all year round, they don't have to go into a full hibernation. So we like to keep them awake just so that we can interact with them, visitors can be able to see them, and it's really up to them whether they want to go to sleep or not. So these guys are going to be getting about half of what they normally would get during the summertime. So they've bulked up all of that food. Now they're going to be kind of slowing down a little bit. Now, Tundra is chewing on one of his favorite things, a bone here, but one of their other favorite things is actually salmon. So these guys in the summertime are going to be eating about 6 salmon a piece a week. And these are big salmon. I'm talking 5-pound salmon. They absolutely love them. So out in the wild, the size of the brown bear is directly related to the amount of salmon that they're getting. So these guys, if they are eating tons and tons of salmon, they're going to grow up to be the biggest bears that they can be. So again, we're hoping for these guys to get nice, big, and strong and be around 1,000 pounds when they're a little bit older. So they're about 2 years old now. They're going to be turning 2. And these guys can live into their late 20s and early 30s. So we've got a whole lot of lifetime to be able to hang out with these guys. So Tundra here is a little bit bolder than Banks is. So Tundra is the dominant one. He's the one who kind of struts out and checks everything out first. But Banks is definitely the more playful and curious one. So he may be a little bit more timid to try the new things, but he absolutely loves playing with toys. And he's usually the one who instigates any kind of fights with his brother. And by fighting, I mean that they are play fighting. Every once in a while, they'll get into a spat, but for the most part, these guys are really, really good siblings. So thank you for joining me and hanging out with Tundra and Banks here, and we can't wait to see more of them as they grow up. So now we are out on fun exhibit in the brown bear exhibit, which is pretty fun to be in. We like to be able to look out and see what the animals are looking at all day. This is why we absolutely love having visitors here, because the bears actually love watching the people. You know, I would say most of the animals here all love watching the people. So these guys, when I come out onto exhibit, first I'm going to clean. They can make a very, very big mess every single day. So I come out here, I fill in some of the holes that they've dug over the day. I pick up all of their trash, all of their poop, all that stuff. And then I look for ways to be able to improve their welfare. So things that I'll do is I can put enrichment out here for them. So I can put toys or scents or different things out here. A lot of times with their food, I'll bury their food. So they actually have to dig to be able to find it. Or I'll put things that they'll take them a while to play with. So like a ball that actually has little holes in it that I can put peanuts or some of their diet in there, and then they have to take that whole day and shake that ball, figure out how to get that food out of there. So it's one of the fun things that I like to do with them, is figure out ways to challenge them and make them work for things. So I come out here and I put their food out. So today they're getting some salmon, they're getting some pears, a little bit of lettuce, and I try and spread it out so that I get it all over the exhibit, so they have to spend a while to actually go and find it. So as we go over here, you can see one of the things that I put out for them today is actually a keg. So I strung up the keg over here, and then what I can do is I put different types of food items in there and was able to make it kind of fun for them. So they've got a salmon underneath it, they have their peaches that are actually freezing to it, and then they have their greens that they don't particularly enjoy, but as I tell them all the time, they still have to eat their vegetables. So thanks for coming out onto exhibit with me, and hopefully when spring comes around, you'll be able to get a look at what the pool looks like.
I am one of the main keepers here at Lake Superior Zoo. I take care of the animals here in Griggs, but also the animals up in Australia. Since COVID happened, we did have to close our doors into our Griggs Learning Center. So this is where all of our ambassador animals are. Our education team will come and visit these animals daily, bring them out for programs, give them enrichment that way. But now, since we aren't able to do that, the keeper staff actually gets to come in every day, pull some of the animals, give the snakes a little bit more exercise, let the rabbits run around and things like that. We also provide enrichment 2 to 3 times a day, which is super exciting. So here we have our 3 guinea pigs. We have a mother and 2 daughters, Clover, Dandelion, and Alfalfa. They get to hang out here in their little double-decker house, which is super exciting. They also chew on anything and everything that you give them, which is great. And here is something that recently has changed since we were closed for COVID. We actually moved our 3 fancy rats into a larger enclosure, so they have more space to climb around, kind of hang out with each other. So they have a couple hammocks, a nice little tube to run in, and do their little rat playtime things. So this is super exciting. Something new that's also happening right now is we have our 2 Turacos, Fiona and Shrek, our male and female, who are actually in the state of breeding right now. So we just got the go-ahead from their SSP, or their Species Survival Plan Coordinator, to say that these guys are okay to breed. We were able to let them hatch their eggs and hopefully be able to spread their species all across America. to get more awareness about these guys. So when an animal is recommended to breed, we sometimes have to change things a little bit, but we don't want to change too much because these guys are already pretty comfortable with where they're at. The only difference that we did do was take out Russell, the three-banded armadillo that you guys will hopefully see soon. He now lives in the back in T2 where he can have his own space, and these two can focus on breeding. We also try and keep it to a very, very minimal care. So we do some sorts of special enrichment if they seem very comfortable with it. We go in there once or twice a day just to feed and clean, but nothing really else. And we just kind of let them do their thing. Right, so our parrots are still here. We have two out that you guys can see, Cricket and Corbell. But all of our larger parrots are still back here in their larger enclosures. So we have Sinbad and Elton here. Sinbad is our green wing, and Elton right there kind of flashes for us. He's our blue and gold macaw, excuse me. So they're just living it up right here. Our parrots now get a couple different kinds of enrichment every day just to keep them stimulated because we don't get to see people every day anymore. So they're just living their best life. Just happy as can be. Hi. This is Alex looking for our attention. Yes, he is a man. Hi. Yeah, he's our cockatoo here. He is definitely the most expressive and definitely misses you guys the most, but he's just singing and talking every day. Yeah, this is Mariah. She's our military macaw. Hi, honey. She's drinking her water right now, and that's a sign from her telling us that she is really comfortable right now. As you can see, this is a couple of the enrichment items that they would get. Basically, wooden, plastic toys, anything that they can shred up, manipulate with their tongue or their beak, and just kind of have fun with. So she loves all the straws in there. She came from a hoarding situation from their previous owner who wasn't able to take care of his macaws properly. So luckily she came here to us, and we found out that she actually had a pre-existing injury that happened while she was in their care. She had a broken bone in her foot, which without any care or help for that and stuff, which caused the bones to kind of fuse together, and she's not able to walk sort of right or lift her wings properly. So for us to make her feel more comfortable, we put in a lot of thick black. We also have a special stand for her where she feels most comfortable and she can come out if she wants to and things like that, but she kind of lets us know. She also gets medication twice a day, in the morning and in the evening, to help with pain management. We have Milton and Sammy Sue. These are two of our red-footed tortoises. Milton is one of our males, and Sammy Sue is a female. Sammy Sue, I believe, is 20 years old, if I remember right, and then Milton is somewhere in his 40s. So these guys live to be pretty old. They're awesome education ambassador animals, and when we have the time and when we can get them to kind of exercise, we let them walk around in grigs and kind of have the whole little area to themselves. So he's slowly coming out here, but here's everybody's favorite. This is Weber, our fruit bat. He's been at the zoo for quite some time now. He's still living his best life, doing little bat things and everything. He is one of the more social animals here at the zoo, so we have a lot of our volunteers and a lot of our zookeepers come in and kind of socialize with him, take him around, just to get him some exercise and a little bit new enrichment every day. Hi, buddy. Nocturnal cycle right now, so that's what that red light is about. All right, so right now we are in the back of the island in Griggs, and this is where we are able to service all of our animals. So here we have our three ferrets. They live here in the island still. These guys are the most receptive to all the enrichment that we give them, which is super exciting. So we give them lots of fun toys to play with, to tug around with, lots of blankets to snuggle up on. They also have their climbing structure in here that they get to climb on every day, and they just get to run around and have fun.
Have you heard? You can bring the zoo to you. Check out our new Zoo to You monthly subscription box, where each month you'll receive a specially curated box featuring one of our animal friends here at the zoo. We created this box with distance learning in mind, knowing that the school year looks a little bit different in 2020. With the Zoo to You box, your child will learn about a different species every month. This month's box features our African lions and includes a fact sheet, photo, special autograph note from one of our zookeepers, exclusive access to a virtual keeper chat, and an enrichment video, and even a tuft of lion fur. Next month, we'll be learning more about our cougars, and you'll get a cool keychain made from one of Tacoma and Olympia's boomer ball toys, full with scratches and teeth marks. Talk about something you can't just get anywhere. Sign up today at elliszooduluth.org.
Hi, my name is Zookeeper Emily, and I am here with two of our North American river otters. They are brothers. The names are Logan and Brule, and they are about 1.5 years old. And you can kind of tell them apart. And then Logan has a lot to say, apparently. But he has a little white dot on the underside of his nose and the top of his lip there. And he's a little bit more outgoing than his brother Brule. Brule is a little bit darker brown, and he likes to kind of hang back and see if there's any treats hidden anywhere and what he can sneak away from the keepers. So these guys are pretty neat in that they are the biggest members of the weasel family, and like other weasels you may know of, like ferrets, they love to play. So we give them all different kinds of toys, and something kind of unique about this pair here is they also like to climb. That's not a normal otter trait, but we have found that they like to climb up on top of different platforms and elevated spots for resting and just getting some fun exercise in. So he is really wanting me to give him some treats right now, so that's why he is making some noise. Otters have very high metabolism, so they like to eat all throughout the day. They usually spend about half of their day finding food and eating food. So, they're big proponents of snacks. I can feel that. I like snacks too. But these two here usually get fed about 3 times a day, and they love their fish the best, and they also like different types of their meatballs and some vegetables. For some reason, they're really into green pepper, which is kind of interesting. But they cannot wait to come and get in their new exhibit so people can come see them and say hi and check them out for themselves. So go up, hold, 2, hold, target. Roll station. Good. Good job. Roll up. Okay. Roll crate. Good.
Gosh.
Good.
It's like, I love crating!
That was a big piece. Good job. Roll crate. Good. Good job. Roll station. Good. Roll right. Roll up. Good. Hold it. Up. Good.
We are almost finished with Brule and Logan's habitat, but we need your help. The last remaining piece of this project is a boiler system, which is necessary for the otters to have access to water all year round. Our otters will have 2 pools, one indoors and one outdoors on exhibit where you can see them play and swim. We raised $11,000 during Give to the Max on November 19th, thanks to donors just like you, but we still have a ways to go to our $30,000 goal. Your donation to the otter habitat will make a direct difference in the lives of Logan and Brule. In addition, your support will forever be memorialized on a plaque dedicated to the people who helped make this new exhibit a possibility. Our hope is that when we are able to safely reopen to the public, we can introduce our community to Logan and Brule. Their new home is connected to our new Bear Country exhibit, where Tundra and Banks will be living very soon. Bear Country was made possible by donors, the city of Duluth, and the state of Minnesota. Once this new exhibit is complete and Tundra and Banks are in their new home next to the otters, a new black bear will join our family as well. This friend will move into the current brown bear habitat. This is so exciting for us at the zoo because this project has been years in the making. When you return to the Lake Superior Zoo, you'll be greeted by a revitalized experience. You can donate to help us finish the otter exhibit by texting OTTER to 44321 or visiting our website at lszooduluth.org. Today marks the first day of our annual holiday membership drive, and this year we've got some great perks. Now through December 31st, purchase or renew any level of membership, and you'll receive $5 off the member rate, 1 free Mini Murph pizza from Papa Murphy's, a free round of mini golf at Adventure Zone, and a free hot chocolate or coffee at the Safari Cafe, while supplies last. Not only does being a zoo member get you unlimited general admission to the zoo for 1 year and select special events, you'll receive reduced admission at over 150 AZA accredited zoos and aquariums across the U.S. and reduced or free admission to over 350 science technology centers across the world, with 10 of those being right here in Minnesota. Join our family today at lszooduluth.org.
I'm Jonathan Balmer, board president of the Lake Superior Zoological Society. I believe the zoo is such an important part for our community because of the education that it provides around conservation and awareness to the broader community and region that we live in. We've been fortunate that we've had such great engagement with folks of wanting to understand and learn how the animals that we have, both native and from around the world, live and interact and understand how their choices that they make every day impact those environments that these animals live in. We have many animals that are part of the species survival program that wouldn't be able to survive in the wild without our help, and being able to provide this home for them is a great opportunity for both their well-being as well as allowing the opportunity for people to engage and interact and learn more about how things have happened in our past as a society and how we can learn from those experiences and make better choices to help protect the environment that they live in and the well-being of our planet. Your support throughout the pandemic has been tremendous, and and with this upcoming 4-week closure that is important for the safety of our community and the well-being of all. It is a challenging time for us here at the zoo. The animals still need to be fed even when we cannot raise funds through a general admission. So your support is so paramount in us being able to continue this mission of education around conservation. Thank you.
So when we're closed during this time of COVID, you know, it's unfortunate that we have to be closed, especially because the animals here absolutely love seeing the visitors. As much as we like going around and looking at the animals, they like seeing the people just as much as we like seeing them. We are their entertainment. We're the thing that they look forward to in the morning. We're the thing that they want to watch all day long. So it's so unfortunate to be closed. When we are closed though, we care for the animals exactly the same way. We take care of them every single day. We're going to give them enrichment every single day. Most of the animals that are really like high energy, that really like seeing the people, like Corbell here. Corbell, what do you think? Are you missing people? Well, when she's missing people, or when we have other animals that are really missing the visitors, a lot of what we'll do is actually give them extra special attention. So the keepers will spend more time with them. Corbell will sometimes come up and eat lunch with me, just to get a little bit of extra special attention for these guys who really like seeing the visitors. It's one of those things too where we would love to be able to have people here at all times, and really we can't wait to be open again. So whenever we get donations from the public, it's absolutely vital for us. So that's money that is going directly to the care of the animals. It's things like enrichment that we can buy for them, new toys, new different fun things for them to eat. It's so important to make improvements for the zoo because everything that we do is for the welfare of the animals. We're trying to improve their lives as much as possible, so every dollar that comes in is super important to be able to make even just minor changes of new perching, being able to get new heaters for the animals, new toys, all of that stuff. Every single dollar makes a difference. My absolute favorite thing about working with animals and being a part of this animal care team is forming the relationships with these animals. Corbell and I have been friends for 11 years. I've been her keeper for a really, really long time, and I know so many things about her, and what's really cool is that she knows so many things about me. Anytime that I come here, even when I'm just here with my own kids, she recognizes me. She says hi to me. She gets excited to see me. My absolute favorite thing is being able to form those bonds and those relationships with these animals and actually have them know who I am and care about what we're doing together. So during this time when we've been closed, it's been super unfortunate because a lot of the money that we actually make is from admissions and from donations from everybody who likes to come in. Every single dollar makes a difference. We're looking to raise $30,000. We really need some new things here at the zoo, and every single donation that we can get from anybody here is fantastic. Memberships, people just coming here, especially when we've been closed, we really need that extra help, you guys. If you guys can donate any kind of amount of money, it helps out specifically the animals, like Corbell here, or any of the other new animals that we have here too, like our bears and our cougars. We're so excited to be able to have people here and be able to see them, and unfortunately during this closed time, it's really unfortunate that we weren't able to bring in as many dollars in admissions. So anything that you can do to help, we would so appreciate it. And honestly, it's really the animals that are going to benefit from it. They're the ones who are going to be able to do more things, have more things, and have better welfare with every donation that you guys can help us with.
From the bottom of our hearts, our entire staff and board thanks you for joining us this evening and your continued support. We also want to thank our staff here at the zoo and volunteers. The animal care staff did an amazing job helping out with the videos for this virtual fundraiser. If you can, please consider donating by visiting our website, lszooduluth.org, or clicking the donate button in the comments. You can also text LSZoo to 44321. Every little bit helps. Stay tuned because there are exciting things coming to the Lake Superior Zoo, and we can't wait for you to be a part of it all. From our family to yours, stay safe and take care of each other out there. We are in this together, and together we can do anything.